Monday morning, everyone. Let's make it a great day. I know people say, "Oh, it's Monday." The day of the week should not determine what kind of day you are going to have. I want you all to live intentionally today. Expect God to show up. He is truly amazing. But just want to share this right quick because I do have to get to work in a little bit here. But as I was preparing my breakfast, I thought about, and I don't know, it just popped into my mind. I don't know where it came from, but I thought about my mom's cars. Like every time, and I mean, trust me, everybody has this style, not everybody, but this style of Cadillac, excuse me. She has a DTS Cadillac, and it's a crimson red, and it's like everybody wants her car. It's like there are other Cadillacs with this same color, but it's like people are saying, "Can I buy that car?" Or, "Oh, that car looks good. What year is it?" And all that stuff. Um, but when I was thinking about that, it's like, stop coveting. And it made me think about the scripture in 2 Samuel, which I will read, and is in the 12th chapter, when this was after David had taken Uriah's wife Bathsheba and had relations with her, and then had him killed because he didn't want him to know that he had summoned his wife to him. And that's what it reminded me of, is that we need to stop coveting what other people have, whether it's their spouse, whether it's their house, whether it's their job title, the way they're built, the way they look. It's like people want what other people have. And I'm so grateful that when we came up, my mom said, "I better never hear you say that you want something because somebody else have it." We didn't come up coveting what other people have. It's like, "Oh, I want what they have." And it's okay if you want it for yourself, but a lot of times people want something just because they see other people with it. And that's the world we live in. It's like so many people, it's like, it's not that they want it, but just because they saw somebody else with it, now they want it. It reminds me of like with children. You know how a child may be playing with their toys, or may not be playing with the toy, but as soon as another child comes and plays with their toy, then that child wants the toy back. So that's what grown-ups remind me of. It's like, it's not something we really wanted, but now that we see somebody else with it, we want it because they have it. Just because they have it. Before then, it's like, you never even thought about that, or it's not something you wanted. But just because your neighbor has something, okay, that neighbor gets a new car. Well, you got to one-up them. And to me, it's just so childish. But that's how a lot of people are in the world, especially in this country. It's like, "Oh, you bought a boat." I remember, like I said, when I was working at the plant, as an engineer, I was a unit supervisor. I remember I could hear the operators, they're bragging, boasting, one operator bought a boat. So the next week, "Oh, well, I bought a boat too." I mean, it's like, what are y'all, children? It's like, to me, it's a lot of maintenance. Just like people, they see you with a luxury car. And I've shared this with people, okay? You have to count the cost. You want that Mercedes-Benz. Do you have Mercedes-Benz maintenance money? Because I can tell you, just to replace one of my headlights, just to replace that, because the wires, my car is older now, and I thank God my car is still running. My car is like 22 years old. I love it. I don't just buy a car. It's just a mode of transportation. You know how people every 4 or 5 years they're buying another car, and they probably are leasing it. But if they can do that, that's fine. But to me, it's not an asset. The moment you drive it off, it depreciates. But of course, nowadays I hear that you can get more money back for your car if you sell it, because they're worth a lot now. But anyway, that's neither here or there. But I said all that to say this. Count the cost. You want what somebody else have, okay? You may want a house like this. Have you thought about what it's going to cost for utilities for that house, maintenance? Because sooner or later things will have to be replaced. I don't. Let me tell you, I got one of those home warranty things, and when it was time to use it, I'm not going to say the name. It's like they came up with all kind of excuses. So you know what? Why give them money? I can just save my own money and make my money work for me. I can invest that same money that I'm paying you each month. Something go wrong, I already have the money. See, we have to change our mindset. And that's the whole thing, even with the insurance industry. It's like people, they are counting on your fear to make them money. Now, let's just be truthful about this. Now, and that's how we came up. Yes, we got to have insurance. God forbid if something happens. If you don't have it, you're fine. If nothing happens. But if you have it, it's like, man, I'm sure glad I had that insurance. But the insurance industry, to me, makes their money based on fear, because they, well, if you leave here, at least your family be in place. And again, it works out if something happens and you got $1 million policy or whatever. But in the case like with these hurricanes, people had insurance, but their deductibles were like, the hurricane deductible is 5%, right? So if you have, I'm just throwing this out here. So let's say your house was insured for $100,000. I'm just putting it out there because I'm sure it costs way more to rebuild a home than $100,000. But 5% of that's a $5,000 deductible. All right, so that's less money you have. See, we don't think about all these things. Okay, I have insurance, but then my deductible, I have a sky-high deductible to keep my premium low. So if something happened, first of all, this has to come out before I can even get paid for whatever happens. So for instance, let's say somebody hit your car and it costs you $300 to fix it. Well, it's not even worth claiming that because your deductible is like $500. So instead of putting that on your report, I'm trying to educate you guys. Listen, things that I know, I didn't always know this, but what I know, I like to share. We don't think about all of this. I'm way off track. This goes back to my book that I wrote, right? Make Your Money Work for You. So let me just get back on target because I need to get out of the way and get to work. I was supposed to be talking about stop coveting. So let me jump back into 2 Samuel and get out of the way. Again, this reminds me of my mom's car. People wanted my mom's car. It's like, get your own car. She is not selling her car. Children and their toys, adults in their toys, right? And then it reminded me of a movie, The Count of the Monte Cristo, where it was 2 friends. One of the friends was rich, had everything he wanted. The other one wasn't that rich, but his rich friend caused him to go to jail so he can marry his friend's girlfriend. Now, he had everything he wanted, but he didn't have his friend's girlfriend. You have to rent the movie. It's really good. So let me go ahead and get into 2 Samuel so I can move on out of the way. 2 Samuel chapter 12. It says, And the Lord sent Nathan unto David. And he came unto him and said unto him, There were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds. Exceeding, okay? But the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up. And it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him. But took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. Now you have all of these, but yet you're going to take this poor man's lamb. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, the man that had done this thing shall surely die. And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said in the 7th verse to David, You are the man. Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you out of the hand of Saul. And then he goes on to tell him all these things he gave him. But yet he took the wife of another man. And then in the 13th verse, David repented and said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also had put away your sin. You shall not die. So David repented. There's a lesson to be learned, folks. So if you are in that, if you are a person that's coveting, especially the rich. And that's what we see here. The more they have, the more they want. People in this country, the rich, you have all this. So why you want to take what people are working hard for? There are people who have to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet, to make an honest living. But yet, people who have, again, this is why I talked about this the other day too. Everyone had what they need in common. There's enough money in this country where there should be nobody living in poverty, nobody living in lack. But because the powers that be and people are selfish, instead of coming together where everybody, like I said, this is a rich country. I don't see the United States mentioned anywhere in the Bible. I hear about Spain and Asia, so it makes me wonder, are we... where do we fit in here? But I'm going off tangent again. But, you guys need to read your word and start putting things together and thinking about where this country fit in the Bible. But we have all of this and still coveting, talk about make America great again and we want to be the best. That's a worldly mindset. And when we have that mindset, and even it's in the church, oh, we have the best pastor. What is all this? This is just foolishness about all of this. The only God say, don't compare yourself among yourselves. That's foolishness. Because nobody can be you better than you can be yourself. And until we get that mindset and stop trying to compete, my only competitor is me. Even on my job, I don't care about what other people are doing. At the end of the day, if I did my best, my reward is going to come from God. Because men, their praises is based on what you do or if it pleases them. So I don't care about any of this. Anyway, let me just get off of here and stop boring you guys with all of this stuff, because I can go on and on about this. But again, stop coveting, okay? Keep your eyes on the prize. Focus on what God put in your life to do and stop wanting what other people have. Stop your coveting. All right? Love you guys. Hope you got something out of this.